Everyone, bucket list travel is on everyone's mind. I'm joined by our friend Hanna from Quark Expeditions, and we're going to explore the top reasons why you should visit Antarctica. Chris, thanks for joining us. Let's dive in. What can people expect to see on their journey?
Thanks, Juan. Antarctica, the seventh continent, it's the landmass at the bottom of the globe, and it's completely encased in ice. It's long held a place in many people's hearts for its remote wilderness and has been featured on nature documentaries as well as in our science and history textbooks. And for those reasons, it might seem somewhat abstract and a hard place to reach. Perhaps, maybe even seems impossible, but it's not. When I tell people what I do for a living, working for a company that takes passengers from all over the world to a place like Antarctica, I often hear a really similar response. I had no idea people can actually go to Antarctica.
Yeah.
And my reply is always yes. Not only do people go, you can too.
It's beautiful.
It's incredible. And one of the reasons why people travel to Antarctica with Quark Expeditions is to be able to step foot on the actual continent, on the Antarctic Peninsula. And Quark Expeditions is specialized in taking you to some of the most remote regions on Earth, places in the Arctic as well as Antarctica for nearly 30 years. For Antarctica, for instance, we visit when the conditions are the best in what's known as the austral summer, November through March. We deliver you to the most remote and pristine places on the planet and immerse you in nature, getting you right up close and personal with stunning landscapes, and offer incredible encounters with wildlife, everything from curious penguins to huge humpback whales. By the way, that's my colleague Beth there on the kayak, and even lazy seals.
Awesome.
You'll also be able to take part in once-in-a-lifetime experiences like kayaking or camping for a night on Antarctica and just so much more. With Quark Expeditions, you have more options for off-ship activities than anyone else. For even more wildlife viewing, you may also want to consider adding destinations like South Georgia, known as the Galapagos of the Antarctic, with both land and water teeming with wildlife, including southern elephant seals and massive colonies of king penguins and so much more. Or perhaps the biologically diverse and historically significant Falkland Islands. These are a bird watcher's paradise with 63 breeding species and over 23 annual migrants to seek out and to view. In fact, the world's largest colony of black-browed albatross, one of the largest birds on Earth, can be found here. But no matter what your goal is for your experience in the Antarctic, Quark Expeditions, the leader in polar adventures, has the right people, the right equipment, and the right expertise to help you realize it. With our team of dedicated polar guides who are all experts in their fields of study, not only do the expedition team members have on average over 140 polar expeditions under their belt, but there are more of them with the industry's highest ratio, 1 for every 7 guests on board our ship. But also our fleet of small purpose-built polar expedition vessels, all designed for under 199 passengers.
And Chris, I think one of the things about your ships is, your company led the first expeditions to the Arctic. So you guys have experience building these ships, and I believe that you're some of the few of that are dedicated just for these type of travels, and they're designed for this type of travel.
Yeah, that's an incredible point, actually, Juan. Thank you for mentioning it. One example of the types of ship that we're talking about is this one right here, Ultramarine. In keeping with our fleet strategy, there's a bit of a Goldilocks. So it's the right ship for the right traveler. The one thing that all the ships have in common is they're under 200 passengers, which allows us to get everybody off the ship and into the polar regions more than anybody else. And this ship in particular features 2 twin-engine helicopters. They can whisk you further and faster into the destinations than ever before and give you a completely new perspective from the air.
It's amazing. And
Another real
that's one of the things that I remember is, the passage down to Antarctica could be rough. And I know that you guys offer this wonderful option for folks who don't want to do the passage, correct?
Exactly. We offer more ways to visit the magic of Antarctica than anyone else. This is one example. Included in that range of offerings is our unique fly cruise itineraries. It allows you to get to Antarctica faster than ever before in comfort and in style with the stylish penguin plane. Um, just to show you a little bit of some of the offerings that we offer the most trips in the business with around 40 per season. And they range anywhere from 8 days all the way up to 23 days and encompassing places like the Falklands and South Georgia, which I highlighted before. So no matter what you're after in the polar regions, if you're after the magic, if you're after the history, if you're after the wildlife or the stunning scenery, Antarctica has it all for you.
It's an amazing destination. A couple questions, Chris.
Yes.
The best time to go is going to be our winter time, our Northeast winter. So Antarctica's summertime. That's correct. Kind of like January, February timeframe.
Correct. The austral summer, as I mentioned before, November through March, that's the summertime in the Southern Hemisphere. And the reason why that's a particularly great time to go is, one, there's more daylight, up to 20 hours per day, which makes for incredible photographs. But it's also when the region is the most teeming with wildlife. Those penguin colonies are starting to form. The seals, the whales, that's when they're the most active. And it's for that reason that we visit during that time frame.
And the itineraries are there, they're pretty, you're traveling a lot. So I imagine you need 10, 12 days on the expedition, or how long are the expeditions?
They range. The fly cruise is our shortest one. That's 8 days. But the beauty of that fly cruise, you just get to Antarctica faster, but you still get the same amount of time as if you took what is our more standard 11-day itinerary. The 11-day itinerary keeps you in the Antarctic Peninsula for the same amount of time. The difference is the time to get to Antarctica. It takes about 2 days in each direction across the Drake Passage. So for those who are short on time or have maybe read that the Drake Passage can be a little bit rocky, the fly cruise is a good alternative.
Any physical handicaps that people should worry about, or do they need to be in certain type of shape to be able to go and experience an expedition with you guys?
If you can climb a set of stairs or get in and out of your bathtub unassisted, you can visit Antarctica with Quark Expeditions. We make it super easy and super accessible. We have a range of activities, everything from, hikes in multiple activity levels that can be flat and slow paced, or something a little bit more energetic. You have the option to, of course, do things like the kayaking that I mentioned, or stand-up paddle boarding. It's completely up to you. It's your trip. We've even had passengers who never left the ship. For them, it was just incredible to be in a place where so few people will ever get to.
Well, I think on the ship too. I mean, I think, every night you guys have different activities in regards to a naturalist, talking about what you saw that day or what you're going to see the next day. Can you tell us a little bit about the life on board when you're not exploring, when you're not on land or in a kayak?
Of course, yeah. So, very often people will say to me, I'm not a cruiser. I don't know if I want to go to Antarctica on a ship. And, this is so different from the traditional cruise ship environment that, your viewers might be more familiar with. Expedition cruising, while it does take place on a ship, that's kind of where the similarities to a traditional cruise stop. It's all about the experience. So rather than the Broadway shows and the casinos, that's replaced with nightly presentations by those teams of experts that I talked about. We do have theme parties and theme nights. For instance, if we're traveling over festive, we will have a holiday party or a New Year's party.
Yeah.
So to be able to say you celebrated the New Year's in Antarctica is, of course, one of the many options that we offer. We have fitness facilities, yoga facilities, we have polar libraries, not to mention some incredible cuisine on board.
Yeah.
So you're never left wanting more out of your experience. There's always something going on for you.
I guess two other last questions. Sometimes we get families who want to do this trip, but the kids, it might not be right for, certain age group. Tell us a little bit about, an age group that you think is the right time to go visit with you guys first, I guess.
Yeah. So, we do have a minimum age for our expeditions, and it's mainly due out of safety concerns. So the minimum age to be able to travel on a Quark Expeditions trip is 8 years old. But that being said, every child is different. If you're after an enriching experience for your children, if they love wildlife, if they love to, visit places that maybe their friends have never been able to visit, or you want that for them. You want to not only educate them virtually these days, but you want them to experience the world. Places like the polar regions are chock full of learning opportunities. So this is not just a vacation. This is truly an experience that I think they will cherish for the rest of their lives.
And I guess the last quick question is, these ships are small. It's tough to get there. If this is on somebody's list, how far in advance do they need to plan on a normal year? I know, this time of year is a little bit different, but in a normal time, should they book, can they book 3 months out, 6 months out, 9 months out?
Well, you kind of started the answer in your question. These are small ships. So with relatively few spaces on board the ship, they do fill up quite quickly. And so with what we offer, you still want to secure a little bit sooner rather than later. So I always say the best time to book is now. We have some incredible promotions in place. We have an incredible book with confidence guarantee, all designed to make now the best time to plan your Antarctic expedition. Because I can tell you, if you wait too long, the ships will be full. You don't want to miss your once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's what always comes up. It's the toughest for us. It's always the toughest thing when somebody thinks they have enough time. They ask to go on an expedition. You're like, yeah, are you thinking of 2025? Because everything is booked right now. So it's definitely a big challenge. I think one thing that that we also have to say is, with any of our partners like Quark or anybody that we work with, and most everybody, there is no rate difference between coming to us than going directly to Quark Expeditions or to any of our partners. We just bring in, as Chris will probably mention a little bit more expertise, help you handhold, do the pre and post, and make the trip a little bit smoother. And obviously, it's all very transparent, because what you see online is what you're going to get anyway. So, but anyway,
as a matter of fact, Juan, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but Elli Travel, you can actually offer through Quark Expeditions an exclusive amenity to your travelers. So it's a great reason to work with you. The other one is that there's logistics that go into it. Our ships leave out of, as you can see on the map that's still up, either Punta Arenas, Chile for the fly cruise, or Ushuaia, Argentina for the traditional sailings. Well, you have to get there. And you're going to go through places like Buenos Aires or Santiago, Chile. And, there's no better experience than having someone who is well-versed in getting you to those places and experiencing those places, like your Elli travel advisor.
Yeah.
Being part of Virtuoso, you are the masters of what you do.
Yeah, we've been lucky, like you said, people ask, it's kind of like what you're saying. It's like, wait, travel advisor is still out there. And it's a lot of expertise, a lot of research. but it's always so much fun, planning these type of trips and working with great partners like Quark Expeditions.
And Juan, I'll say that if nobody understood the value of working with a travel advisor before,
yeah,
in the last year, they found out really quickly just how valuable and how indispensable you are. So from Quark Expeditions, I thank you for everything you do in making sure that our mutual guests are well taken care of.
Well, we appreciate it. We love working with you. This has been great. I look forward to exploring some new destinations with you on some future videos. But with that said, we appreciate all your time. We appreciate your partnership, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks a lot, Juan. Have a great day.
See ya.